Okay. Everything good? I think everything's good. Okay. The remembrance.
There is no enemy. The foe on the battlefield is merely the manifestation of that which we must overcome. He is doubt, and fear, and despair. Every battle is fought within. Conquer the battlefield that lies inside you, and the enemy disappears like the illusion he is.
Virtue is often attributed unto the Primarchs of the Imperium. For it is true that many of the Emperor of Mankind's sons imbue their legions with their greatest traits, inspiring their sons with ideals such as heroism, loyalty, bravery, and sacrifice. Though of all the Primarchs there is only one synonymous with righteousness,
Korvax.
symbolizing the Imperium's truth, fortitude, and valor.
Gorilla Man.
Primarch of the 7th Legion
Dorn.
of Adeptus Astartes, Rogel Dorn. During the scattering of the Primarchs, Rogel Dorn would land on the death world of Inwit within the system of the same name. Caught in the gravitational pull of a dying star, half of Inwit's surface would be blanketed in perpetual darkness, with the other illuminated by faded sunlight. Dorn's capsule would be discovered by...
What makes a death world a death world? Is it just that it's very, very difficult to live on? Very inhospitable? Because there seems to be a lot of people living there, despite it being a death world.
an ice caste, native to the ice hives of the world. The patriarch of the House of Dorn would raise the Primarch as his grandfather, teaching him tactics and survival skills.
Dang.
When Rogel Dorn eventually discovered that his
a
grandfather
father,
was not a blood
or at least
relative,
a grandpa.
he still held his memory in high regard, keeping a fur-edged robe that belonged to him, blanketing
And he
his bed
kept his
with each
blanket?
night that he slept. Inwit bred hardy people, as the planet bore little of value, but Rogel Dorn would lead his caste, reaching other planets for greater resources and unifying the system's people under the Inwit Empire, with Rogel Dorn becoming its emperor. The Primarch could also discover a ship within the orbit of his homeworld, the Phalanx.
Ah, the Phalanx. They just found a moon-sized spaceship floating around. Yep. Of
A
course,
colossal
dude.
vessel constructed during the Age
Just
of Technology.
lost a
Dorn would spend
moon-sized
years
spaceship.
trying to reactivate it. Within 40 years of the death of his adoptive grandfather, Dorn would be discovered by the Emperor of Mankind and his Imperium. As the 7th Primarch to be found by the Emperor, Rogel Dorn would meet with him at the helm of the Phalanx.
Sorry, burp.
Returning the vessel to his father's care, Rogel Dorn would bend the knee to the Imperium, and the Phalanx would become the Imperial Fist's fortress monastery.
I don't know if you said it, but I'm pretty sure Dorn offered the Emperor the Phalanx, but he just said, nah, just keep it. Which is crazy, because this is like the Gojo of this world. It's the strongest spaceship. That's kinda unlosable.
Dorn would from this day remain fiercely loyal to the Emperor, becoming an exemplar of the truth. He would never tell a lie and be a staunch defender of the Imperium.
Oh, what
Commanding
a good
his
guy.
legion of expeditionary fleets with both
God.
military genius and peerless devotion to the task set forth by the Emperor,
Is
Dorn
that
would be
Terminator
compared to
on
his
the
brother
right?
Primarchs due to his similar traits.
This is not a Primarch, is it? Sanguinius. Dorn. I think this is supposed to be Wolf Boy.
Bearing the same discipline as Guilliman,
And
the
Gilliman.
bravery of the lion, and even revealing moments of reckless
That
zeal.
was not the lion. Wait.
And as Guilliman, the bravery of
That is not the lion. Hey, no way.
The lion,
Is that the
even
lion?
revealing moments of reckless zeal akin to the Khan.
That's definitely
or
the Khan.
Rus. Horace Lupercal would even state that a fortification held by Dorn's legion of the Imperial Fists would stave off his own legion of the Lunar Wolves in an endless stalemate should the conflict ever occur. Tasked by the Emperor with constructing the capital homeworld of Holy Terror's Imperial Palace, Dorn would forge a magnificent fortress which would prove crucial in time for the upcoming betrayal. As the Imperial Fists were recalled to Holy Terror, the Horus Heresy would ignite the flames of betrayal.
Wait, that was a blood angel. Why is there a blood angel in chains? So this looks like one of the Phoenix. I forgot what they're called. The Phoenix chapter, when they just combust. And I think they also come from the Blood Angels, but I'm not sure.
To Holy Terror, the Horus Heresy would ignite the flames of betrayal. Warp storms would impede the 7th Legion's journey to Terra, allowing fate to cross Rogaldorn's path with the escaping Death Guard battle captain, Nathaniel Garrow, and his ship of Loyalist forces aboard the ship.
They were already heading back before Nathaniel? I thought they started heading back because of Nathaniel.
Known as the Eisenstein. As Garrow relayed his news of Horus Lupercal's betrayal, Dorn would barely contain his rage,
Dorn would be very
almost ending the life
unhappy.
of Garrow, believing his words to be heretical lies.
Hey man, that's how you know Dorn. Dorn was a very passionate person, but he was able to control his passions. Dorn really is the antithesis of everything that chaos was. Like, he doesn't seek more knowledge than he needs. He controls his rage for the most part. Or he's able to control his rage, let it out when he needs to, and keep it in when he needs to. And he has so much testosterone, his balls doesn't work. And he's a very hard-working person that builds stuffs that does not crumble, which is the opposite of Nurgle, whereas everything decays. Dorn strides to build things that last for eternity.
With the intervention of Remembrancer Mercedes Olaton and her cortical implants, Dorn would see with his own eyes the tyranny and butchery of his brother Primarch, as his forces massacred their detachment of Remembrancer historians, poets, and artists. Dorn would dispatch the majority of his legion to combat the rebellious factions in an attempt to quash Horus's plans before he had amassed a sizable force. Returning to Holy Terror, Dorn would inform the Emperor and his subjects of the events that were transpiring personally.
Weird.
The Emperor would declare Dorn as the...
So he did send it. Oh, I guess he did. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it was stated that if Dorn's entire legion fought the traitors, he would just won. Because how fat his legion was.
Lord Commander of the Imperium.
How fat the fists were, bro.
Fortifying the Imperial Palace's defenses, Dorn would assume command of the
But then he
Imperium,
got called back.
whilst the Emperor managed the war within the Redway and his project
So he's such
and
a
the
funny
Imperium's
picture.
reliance on warp travel. Whilst Malcador the Sigillite dealt with the politics of the Imperium, Dorn would divide the Sol system into several spheres of defense, attempting to contain the traitor advance and split their forces. With the beginning of the first millennium, Horus would enact his invasion of the Sol system. With Mars and the moon of Luna under attack,
We still use barbed wire against these guys. That's some super barbed wire right there. What is it called? That's powered barbed wire. It has a disruptor field and
His
everything.
invasion of the Sol system.
Otherwise, it
With
wouldn't
Mars
work.
and the moon of Luna under attack, Dorn would helm the phalanx and engage the traitor forces. Mercediolaton would travel to the station with urgent news of the traitor forces' actions, only to be revealed as corrupted by the demonic being known as Samos. Bringing with it demonic forces of
Wait.
chaos, Dorn would engage with the foul being.
Wait, what did that say?
Horus would enact his invasion of the Sol system. With Mars and the moon of Luna under attack, Dorn would helm the phalanx and engage the traitor forces.
Yeah, he would go engage.
Mercediolaton would travel to the station with urgent news of the traitor forces' actions, only to be revealed as corrupted by the demonic being
So
known as Samos.
she was corrupted, and she brought
Bringing
demons on
with
board.
it demonic forces of chaos, Dorn would engage with the foul beings and continuously
That is
kill
not
Samos.
the chain sword.
However, the demon
Powered
would be
chain
reborn
sword.
until Mercediolaton would take her own life, closing the portal from which the demons had emerged.
Oh, so she
With the Sol
was the one
system
that.
falling to traitor forces, Dorn would return to the Imperial Palace to command the defenders of the throne. Leading the forces of the Bab Bastion and Sky Fortress, Dorn would forbid his Primarch brothers Sanguinius and
Oh, they
Jagatai
didn't go
Khan.
over it. They didn't go over. The remembrance didn't go over the fact that Dorn already killed. It's not Omegon. The other one. Farius. On Pluto. In a
from leaving
duel.
the palace walls, intending to slowly bleed the forces of Horus with a protracted siege,
With his powered
buying
chainsword.
time for the arrival of Abute Gilliman's fleet of Ultramarines to
There's the
turn the tide
Warborn.
of battle. Dorn would relent when realizing the Ultramarines would not arrive in time, giving permission to Sanguinius and his Blood Angels to
the
lead a
Eternity
counterattack
Gate.
from the Helios Gate.
Oh,
Dorn
my
would
bad.
position one of his lieutenants, Fafnir Ran, to defend the Lions Gate spaceport,
Oh,
and his most
Fafnir.
fearsome son, Sigismund, would engage the
Oh, there
World
he
Eater
is.
forces, aiding in the defense of the spaceport, only to be bested by his former friend, Khan. Dorn would save Sigismund's life, swatting away
I'm
the
just saying, but Khan was juiced up. Sigismund did lose, but he got super juiced by. Well, he lost, and he got super juiced by Korn.
chosen warrior of the Chaos being known as Khorne. Despite his stalwart defense, the Lion's Gate would fall, threatening the integrity of the Colossi, Saturnine, and Gorgon gates, imperiling the Eternity
Someone needs
Wall
to hold the
spaceport.
banner, bro.
The Loyalist forces had the numbers to only protect 3
Ain't
of these
no way
key
he got
structures,
that far.
with Dorn deciding to
Angry.
abandon the spaceport. Dorn would set a trap at the Saturnine Gate, and at the height of the skirmish, clash
Oh, there
blades
he
with his
is.
brother Primarch.
Oh, here it is,
Fulgrim.
here it is, here it is. Storm's Teeth. The power chain sword that he used to kill Alfarius. This is it right here. I'm pretty sure I already forgot his name. But he should be a sneaky boy right now,
Dorn
right?
would best his brother in combat, but the wounds he dealt would be instantly healed by Fulgrim's Chaos-born powers. Fulgrim would tire of the battle and retreat, sending his elite honor guard led by Lord Commander Eidolon to
He
kill
got
Royal
tired
Dorn.
of getting his ass beat.
With Sigismund's
That's
aid,
crazy.
they would survive the onslaught, and for the next 3 months of the siege, Dorn would not sleep or rest for a moment. Even for a Primarch, his superhuman body strained to exhaustion. Jagatai Khan would insist that he should lead a charge to retake the Lions Gate spaceport, which Dorn would allow. The Khan would not return from the spaceport, Dorn believing him to be lost. In a last-ditch effort to end
Against
the war,
Nurgle.
Dorn,
Pretty sure.
Sanguinius,
Pretty sure
and
it's
the
going
Emperor of
nuts.
Mankind would assault Horus Lupercal's flagship,
Typhus
the Vengeful
and
Spirit.
his
Dorn would be
Primarch, I
separated from
forgot.
the Emperor and Sanguinius during the assault. Later, he would find his brother's corpse and his father fatally wounded. Receiving his final instructions from the Emperor, Dorn would carry the Angel and his Emperor back to Terra. Interring the Emperor unto the Golden Throne, Dorn would feel the weight of guilt bear down on him. Failure now scarred him, and the Primarch would inflict suffering upon himself with a device known as the Pain Glove.
Which
The
weren't
pain revealed to him visions
which wasn't a glove for the hand. It was like a body glove. You know?
that his legion would need redeeming as penance for his failure to protect his Imperium. Seeing an opportunity, Dorn would assault the Iron Cage, a gigantic fortification built by Perturabo and his Iron Warriors to mock the fighting capability of the Imperial Fists. Dorn would rise to the challenge and spend weeks attempting to conquer the labyrinthine fortress.
And they all
With
died.
the end of the battle near, it is uncertain as to which legion would survive. Regardless, Rabute Gilliman would intervene, causing the Iron Warriors to retreat into the Eye of Terror. The Imperial Fists had suffered catastrophic losses during the battle, but nonetheless redeemed themselves in their duty to spill the blood of traitors to the Imperium. The remainder of the 7th Legion was split into successor chapters, including the Black Templars and Crimson Fists, and for the next 20 years, Dorn would continue to split his legion into...
It's from that guy, the axe guy from earlier. I completely forgot his name. Where is it? Should be over here somewhere. No, I don't remember, but this is from one of his captains as well.
Codex Astartes compliant chapters. The final record of Rogel Dawn would soon follow,
Here's
with
Pluto.
the Primarch engaging in battle with a Chaos Fleet despoiler-class battleship known as the Sword of Sacrilege. Leading a desperate attack on the ship's bridge, the Primarch's fate would be unknown, with his sons recovering only a severed hand from the aftermath of the battle. Keeping the severed skeletal fist in stasis within a shrine aboard the Phalanx, with every chapter master
They
of the
rotted it,
Imperial
then they
Fists
put it in stasis.
etching their names into the bones of the relic, a reminder of the Legion's duty to sacrifice for his Imperium.
Discipline, duty, unyielding will. These are the measures by which every warrior is judged. Unarmed, a warrior with these qualities will still find victory, no matter how long or arduous the path. When girded with the sacred armaments of the Adeptus Astartes, such a warrior becomes truly indomitable.
Rogo Dorn.
This has been a tale of the great Imperium of Man, read by the Remembrancer. Sons of Baal, still your rage.
That was our like a very, very light overview of what Dorn. I don't even think he said that Dorn killed Alvarius. Whoopsie. Okay. Next video. Could be from the Remembrance, but let's see. Let's see if I can get it. Good video for Sigismund. You know what? It's fine. I think it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. The Remembrance. But this time Sigismund, the Emperor's champion.
War that we did not understand, against weapons we never dreamt existed. We were unready, we were vulnerable, we were weak. But in those first moments our enemies gave us strength. The strength to live, to rise from the bloody fields, to march on, but not to fall. All this is ours now, and was not before.
There are many Astartes amongst the Loyalist legions who fight and die in the name of the Emperor. Great martyrs are born in moments of sacrifice. Their legendary defiance against chaos and the fell Xenos of the galaxy a cornerstone of the Imperium's might.
It's that one guy
Though
that
there is
ran
only
away.
one Astartes chapter that honors the finest blade of their battle brothers as Emperor's Champion. And that title originates from a singular warrior of Rogel Dorn's 7th Legion, first captain of the Imperial Fists,
I
Sigismund.
like how he always has to layer
A
a lot
Terran-born Astartes, Sigismund rose through the ranks of the Imperial Fists due to his relentless lethality and prowess in combat. It is often argued which hero of the Imperium's illustrious history is the greatest amongst their peers, but none of these arguments bear merit without the inclusion of Sigismund. Undefeated in combat, Sigismund gained a reputation during the Great Crusade amongst all Astartes' legions as a noble yet ferocious warrior. Fighting alongside his Primarch, Sigismund, though brash and
Ferocious
headstrong,
is right.
would serve as Rogel Dorn's greatest warrior, seen less as an Astartes and more as a symbol of the Praetorian of Terror's invincible will. Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels, would even remark about
Dang.
Sigismund, saying that he was less the champion of Dorn, and more fittingly, the champion of death itself. During the Great
Well,
Crusade,
that
the
doesn't sound that
Imperial
cool.
Fists and World Eaters would wage war together on numerous occasions. As the foremost champions of their legions, Sigismund and Khan, equerry to the Primarch Angron, would become close comrades.
Angron the Angry.
Referring to one another as Oath Brothers, Sigismund would gain a reputation in the World Eater fighting pits on their flagship Conqueror, earning the
I wish
moniker
they ended
of
better.
Black Knight.
God,
Sigismund's
the
time
Sigismund's
spent with the
story
World
should have
Eaters
ended
would
better.
lead to him adopting the 12th Legion's custom of chaining their weapons to one arm, leading to the Black Templar practice known as devotional chains. During the beginning of the Horus Heresy, Sigismund would be one of the first loyalist Astartes to confront Captain Nathaniel Garrow of the Death Guard Legion on board the
Garrow,
battle-scarred
another
ship
great
known as
swordsman.
the Eisenstein. Upon Garrow relaying the warning of Horus's betrayal to Rogel Dorn, the Vigilant would isolate himself from his legion. Once Dorn had decided on a plan of action, he would command Sigismund to evaluate the credibility of Horus's betrayal. During his moments of inner turmoil, Sigismund would speak with Euphrates Keeler, the former Imagist serving alongside the Lunar Wolves Legion of Astartes, and first living saint of the Imperium. She would warn
She was
Sigismund
a
that
saint.
soon the traitor legions would invade Holy Terror, and that he would be forced to choose where he would stand in the coming battle. Showing him a vision of the possible future, Keeler would reveal the death of the Imperium itself, his corpse another unremembered son added to the pile. The other choice resulting in his death, but with the elucidation of his virtue, the survival of the Imperium, and his duty to his Primarch fulfilled.
So both ways he dies, he just picked
Sigismund would request
know,
Dorn to allow him to remain at
the
his
good
side,
one. The good
which his
end.
Primarch allowed, but with uncertainty as to his finest warrior's reasoning. In Sigismund's place, Captain Yonad would serve his Primarch, though Rogel Dorn trusted Sigismund's plea without reservation or objection. The Imperial Fists would be recalled to Holy Terror with the news of the coming betrayal and be tasked with fortifying the throne world.
Whatever happened to that
Masters
guy?
of fortification and siegecraft, the Emperor's Praetorians would prepare for the coming onslaught. However, Dorn would send forth 30,000 Astartes of his legion to combat the forces of chaos stationed in the Istvan system. With over 500 ships, they would be dubbed the Retribution Fleet. Whilst overseeing the fortification constructions on Terra, word would reach Rogel Dorn of the massacre of Istvan V, the death of Iron Hand Primarch Ferrus Manus, and the destruction of his legion, the betrayal of the Night Lords, Iron Warriors.
Wait.
Finest warrior's reasoning. In Sigismund's Masters of fortification and siegecraft would send forth 30,000 Astartes. Praetorians would prepare for the coming onslaught.
What did he say?
However, Dorn would send forth 30,000 Astartes of his legion to combat the forces of chaos stationed in
30,000?
the Istvan system. With over 500 ships, they would be dubbed the Retribution Fleet.
I thought the Retribution Fleet
Whilst
was
overseeing
other
the
primaries.
fortification constructions on Terra, word would reach Rogel Dorn
Interesting.
of the massacre of Istvan V, the death of Iron Hand Primarch Ferrus Manus, and the destruction of his legion, the
I always
betrayal of the
forget that
Night
he's a
Lords,
Primarch.
Iron Warriors, Alpha Legion, and Word-Bearers, and the near annihilation of the Loyalist Raven Guard and Salamander Legions,
That's
the
after he got
Primarchs of
nuked the
both
second
legions
time.
missing in action. And with all this, his Retribution Fleet had not returned.
Oh,
Enraged, Dorn would command
separate.
Sigismund to purge the Sol system of any betrayers to the throne, given whatever means Sigismund saw fit to achieve his Primarch's goals. Before his dispatch, Sigismund would reveal the vision he had seen to his Primarch,
See?
and the reasoning for
And this is why he's a good son. Even though he knows he'll get in big trouble, because it's pretty obvious, he still came clean to his daddy about why he had to stay back, or why he wanted to stay back.
his request to stay at his side. Dorn would rebuke his Gene son, reminding him that Astartes nor Primarch chose their duty to the Emperor. Their fate was not to choose, only to serve. With his Primarch's trust squandered, and ashamed at his deception, Sigismund offered his Primarch his blade, the Black Sword, requesting
Oh,
he
here he
end
had
his
his
life
black sword at this
rather
point.
than live in shame. Dorn would refuse to kill his loyal son, but would no longer allow him to sow doubt or fear or superstition within his legion's ranks. Those would be Sigismund's burden alone.
Also, by the way, the Templars were a thing right now when they were saying that. So, very funny.
Dorn would disown his son, but Sigismund, ever the dutiful captain, would resolve not to stew in his pity, nor abandon the cause he had been shown by Euphrates Keeler.
Because
He
he's
would be
no
there
heretic.
to protect his Gene father. He vowed to himself that he would not fail. Horus Lupercal's invasion of Terra would birth legends and heroes.
This
of
guy
Viking.
here, this guy was executioners. I'm pretty sure.
And during the siege of Terra, Rogel Dorn would bestow Sigismund the title of Emperor's Champion. Serving as the Almighty's personal champion, though humbled, Sigismund's armor would be painted in the white and black of the champion's colors. He felt disturbed that his heraldry of the Imperial Fists would be replaced, but was set at ease by the 7th Legion High Chaplain, stating
They
that
even
the
have a chaplain,
Reclusiasm
bro.
served
What?
in the Emperor's name, and
No
Sigismund
religion,
was
chaplain.
kindred in this honor. Sigismund would scour the battlefield, challenging the champions of chaos to single combat and slaughtering anything that stood in his path. The Imperial Fists would remain stationed on Terra for the remainder of the siege, with their Primarch Rogel Dorn, Primarch Sanguinius, and the Emperor, beloved by all,
I always
assaulting
think
the
Sanguinius
flagship of
only
Horus
uses like one
Lupercal,
weapon.
the vengeful spirit.
He was double
With
fisting
the traitor
weapons.
legions repelled from Terra, Primarch
spear and a
Rabute Gilliman
sword.
would create a tome, the Codex Astartes, to regulate the legions to prevent any further betrayals by limiting their amassed strength. Sigismund would be chosen to lead the Imperial Fist's second founding
Creates
chapter,
codex,
the Black Templars,
dies, comes
as
back,
its first High Marshal.
breaks the codex.
Black Templars would embrace the chapter markers of the
Yeah.
black and white panoply of war, first donned by Sigismund during the Siege of Terra. Their High Marshal resolving that a gesture of supreme faith in the Emperor was required for his Imperium to survive. Restless and with Ironforge's zealous rage, the Black Templars would initiate the longest unbroken crusade in humanity's history. For 10,000 years, the Templars would lay waste to the enemies of the
guess.
Imperium, and every subsequent High Marshal that followed in
High
Sigismund's
Marshal
place
Helbrecht.
would swear an oath for this holy crusade's renewal and continuation. Sigismund's last battle would be pitted against the inheritor of the arch-traitor's heretical ideals, Abaddon the Despoiler. During 781 of the
Man, is he
31st
ugly.
millennium, Abaddon would be discovered leading a host of traitor and demon forces, enacting the first in a
Man,
number
they're so
of his
spicy.
accursed Black Crusades. Warmaster Abaddon had schemed within the Eye of Terror for centuries, building his newly assembled Black Legion of traitor Astartes. The Black Templars would stand against the traitor forces, Sigismund at their lead. With over 1,000 years of service to his Imperium, though blunted by age, was nonetheless still deadly enough
That's
to
still
instill
crazy.
fear
Over
in
1,000
all
years
enemies
old.
of his Imperium. Sigismund's quest to find
These are like
Abaddon complete,
countless
he would inform
generations
the
of
Despoiler that
Astartes.
during his onslaught at the Siege of Terra, when the flames of heresy still burned upon its scarred visage, lesser men had impeded his path, their lives forfeit in preventing his blade from cutting down Horus's most favored son. The two ancient warriors would fight, the ebony black sword and the talon of Horus clashing until Sigismund plunged his sword through the War Master's chest. Despite such a crippling blow,
I'm assuming now he has
Abaddon
the High
would
Marshal's
disembowel
blade.
Sigismund with his talon, another legendary foe's blood lavering the claw's vicious blades.
The first
Sigismund,
Abaddon
Black
said,
Crusade.
through lips darkened by his own lifeblood.
this claw has killed 2 Primarchs. It wounded the Emperor unto death. I would have spared it the taste of your life as well, if only you could see what I have seen.
As I stared through Abaddon's
What have you
eyes,
seen,
I
Maro?
confess I expected the triteness of some night oath, or a final murmur in the Emperor's name. Instead, the ruined thing that had been first captain of the Imperial Fists and High Marshal of the Black Templars spoke through a mouthful of blood, committing the last of his life to biting off each word, ensuring he spoke each one in shivering, sanguine clarity.
You will die as your weakling father died, soulless, honorless, weeping, ashamed.
Sigismund's last
Damn.
word was also his last breath. It sighed out of his mouth,
He
taking
really
his soul
just
with it.
Black Legion, Black Library. What?
This has
Black
been the
Library.
tale of the great Imperium of Man, read by the Remembrancer.
Thank you. I think this one's pretty good. I think it did cover most of what he did. I guess it didn't. The actual like individual fights he didn't cover that, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's see. Marshal Helbricht. Okay, I actually do like the Major Kill one. It's both funny and informative. I think that's the best one
Using it to
for now. For now. That is the best one. I'll add this one as well.
In Gal, the Black Templars are widely considered to be the most powerful Space Marine chapter in the Imperium. They have the Emperor's champions, which are hand-selected warriors blessed by their god, Grimaldus, a man too stubborn to die, way more Marines than they should due to the technicality of being on Eternal Crusade, but most importantly of all, they have High Marshal Helbrecht, one of the greatest warriors
saying.
and generals in the Imperium.
Gilliman's using the same excuse.
This guy was so
now.
vital to the Imperium and of such a massive asset that when he was a child, the Emperor brought his shattered consciousness together for enough time to tell the Custodian Guard to protect the boy and ensure he would live long enough to be recruited by the Black Templars. Helbrecht is an absolute legend of the Imperium and is genuinely considered to be one of the best naval commanders in all of humanity. Need I say
Man,
more? This man
that's
deserves
so
a
crazy
video.
to me.
Before we get started, the sale of the legendary Burning Hand
That the Templars have the best naval commander.
Kaput. You miss out, silly boy. This
I
mod
guess
took a
it's-
year of producing, refining, and testing to get perfect, and it was worth every effort. The detail is insane, but also translates
Man, dude,
beautifully
I
to
couldn't
tabletop
even
scale.
imagine
There are a
painting.
ton of weapon and head variants, so you can really make
Painting's
it
too
really.
hard
You can
for
even
my-
decide if you want to have the standalone version, where he's by himself, or the diorama version, featuring a bunch of sluzz marines eating shit. You can actually mix and match the two versions if the 3 marines is too many. The choice is yours. The customization doesn't stop there though, as the model is available in 4 different scales. The tabletop scale for wargaming or army painting, the 7 the
Oopsie.
5mm art scale for those that want bigger, easier to access details, the 112 bus scale for you hectic units out there, and then there's the 1/6 ultra scale for the collectors of you out there. As I've said, the model is so difficult to produce that I don't know if we'll ever bring it back. So if you think at any point in your life you will want a Burning Hand of Vengeance, then now is the time. We also made the Sluz
I
models
have
their
no
own
idea.
standalone models
I think
because
that's
they were
it.
stunning in onto themselves. Burning Hand will only be around until this weekend, so this is your last chance. Link is below. Today we'll go over the lore of High Marshal Helbrecht and why he is truly the master of weaponized autism. Let's get into it. Many characters within 40k have humble beginnings, and through hard effort, a strong will, and constantly failing and
Blood
improving,
Angels.
they become the legends they are today. Characters like Dante spring to mind here.
Okay,
However,
looks like he
some
looks
characters
lost
are
all his
chosen by
blood
destiny
already, bro.
and are just ridiculously overpowered from the get-go, like Abaddon. Helbrecht take this a step further, as he was literally hand-chosen by the God Emperor. You could argue that it was a somewhat humble beginning, as he was born in an underhive of a world no one gives a fuck about. However, he was secretly watched over by the Aquilian Shield as a youth. The Aquilian Shield are a shield host of custodians who are tasked by the Emperor or Doomscries, which is kind of more or less the Emperor as well, to watch over and protect certain individuals in the
The
Imperium.
12 to
These
15
individuals
foot
would usually then go
golden
on to achieve
statues
amazing things or be pivotal in massive
sneaking
Imperial
around.
victories. Now you may be curious how the big skeletal Emperor tells his custodians to do this. Well, sometimes he is able to cohere himself briefly in order to speak to certain custodians in their dreams. These custodians, the Emissaries Imperialis, shield host, then convene and discuss the dreams until the message is determined. They then pass the message over to the Aquilian Shield if it's appropriate. On the other side of the coin, there is also the Doomscries, powerful psychers who constantly look through the warp to try to detect threats before they emerge. They also inform the Aquilian Shield about who they should protect to avoid disaster. So the Aquilian Shield have two options for intel. For Helbrecht, it was the Doomscries who told the Aquilian Shield of him. But I digress. The Aquilian Shield watched over Helbrecht from the shadows his entire youth and ensured he would be found and recruited by the Black Templars. From here, Helbrecht absolutely jettisoned through the Black Templars hierarchy. He was extremely stubborn, violent, and loved killing bitches. All traits greatly valued by the Black Templars. As a neophyte, he held the line against the Tyranids at Deathcore Ridge. He slaughtered the Cow's death cult on Pelegrin IV, and soon after this he was promoted to Sword Brethren, which is like a veteran after clapping some Edward Cullen Twilight-looking motherfucker. Soon after this, his Marshal Diadin, Helbrecht's commander for the Crusade, was
He
slain,
literally
with Helbrecht taking his place. So in only
just
a few
perfectly
decades, Helbrecht
climbed
had gone from
straight
initiate to
up.
Marshal, an extremely rapid
He spent like
rise in a
no
very
time in
competitive chapter. After about
anywhere
a century
lower
or
than
so of outstanding service, the current
being the High
High
Marshal.
Marshal Hell was killed by a spastic ass Cornite Berserker. Gotta watch out for those. With Helbrecht being unanimously voted in to become the new High Marshal of the Black Templars. He was given the Sword of the High Marshals, not exactly the most exciting name, however it did contain fragments of Rogel Dorn's own sword.
See, this is the sword so I don't even think that's lower, because Sigismund originally had a black sword, but then I thought he was given another black sword, but then he also had another black sword when he stabbed Abaddon. But is that the one that he stabbed Abaddon with the High Marshal's blade? And if it is, does it contain a piece of Storm's teeth? Man, dude, they have so many black swords that what's one?
So
It's hard to keep track of which one's which I don't think anyone cares. The authors don't care.
As he declared crusade against these random ass aliens living in the Ghoul Stars. For context, the Ghoul Stars are extremely out of the way and the threats within the Ghoul Stars usually stay there, but Helbrecht was like, fuck it, it's genocide time. So they initiated the Ghoul Stars Crusade and genocided pretty much all Scythor fiends, blowing up many worlds in the process. The
Pretty sure he just went there because it's really far away.
And the Black Templars had to abandon this random side quest. Gazkala returned to Armageddon, so the
The
third war was
Golden
kicking
Lions.
off. Helbrecht was given overall command,
And
being the most qualified, and who the fuck is going to say no to Helbrecht? He
Is it the
dominated
Golden
Orcs of the
Lions?
Void by personally leading some of the most daring boarding actions in history. After some hard fighting and legendary last stands, the Orcs left Armageddon to continue their own conquest elsewhere, but Helbrecht didn't hear no bell. He and Yarrick chased Gazkal and were hellbent on his destruction. They even managed to corner the flagship and were going to destroy it, but Gaz managed to slip into the warp and kick off his legendary war regardless. But a man that can make the Prophet of Gork and Mork run is a man you don't want to fuck with. Helbrecht isn't just beefing with random ghoulish Xenos and Orcs though. He went face to face with Imhotep the Stormlord, greatest of the Necron commanders. Helbrecht was ruthless and brilliant, but so was Imhotep. The two war leaders tried to outmaneuver each other and eventually came face
Is
to face
Imhotep
in
the
combat.
second strongest?
Amazingly, Helbrecht was
At
actually
among
great
the
warrior, landing devastating
Necrons?
blow after blow on Imhotep. However, Imhotep's extremely advanced necrodermis body meant he was constantly regenerating, and after a long fight, Helbrecht collapsed from exhaustion and dozens of wounds. Imhotep was so impressed with Helbrecht, so instead of finishing him off, he sliced off his hand and kicked him down a hill, a sign of respect and disrespect in equal measure. Helbrecht was something beyond furious. He had lost the duel and the battle. There would be vengeance. Vengeance would come soon as Helbrecht
I feel like this
caught
happens a
Imhotep's
lot
fleet
to the
off
Black
guard.
Templars.
His tactics this time were less cautious. He simply shot the engine of Imhotep's ship, stopping it from escaping before going full Leroy Jenkins and boarding it. Overwhelmed by so much autism, Imhotep teleported to safety, but his flag
Bro. Greatest naval commander. Shoots engine, teleports on, wins battle.
ship was then jettisoned into a nearby star. Helbrecht's vengeance had not yet been satisfied, but blowing up the enemy ship is a good start. This brings us to the current setting. When the Great Rift opened, many Black Templar fleets were scattered. The frustrated Helbrecht wanted to keep chasing Gaz, ignoring the countless pleas for help from countless Imperial worlds. However, when Guilliman caught up with Helbrecht, he reminded the High Marshal of his oath to the Emperor and the Imperium, that he should set aside his personal vendettas for the good of mankind. Helbrecht agreed and called off his pursuit of Gaz. He then split up his forces and has begun liberating world after world, in the name of Rogel Dorn and the Emperor. Helbrecht's
feel like-
Crusaders personally engaged and destroyed Tyranid and Orc forces, with Helbrecht personally slaying war boss Tusker Grob Worldkiller. Unlike a number of other big chapters like the Space Wolves and Dark Angels, who were pretty against the Primaris at the start, the Black Templars, especially Helbrecht, were like, fuck yeah, more Marines for Eternal Crusade, let's go. There was one instance of a Black Templar Crusade fleet rejecting their Primaris, killing them and the custodian that delivered them. Yep, it was pretty silly, but overall the Black Templars are just...
Bro. And I think they also ended up like what is it? The Marshal of whatever Crusade had one that guy was on. He just like kept doubling down until he like died.
happy to be at war. After all, Helbrecht himself has recently been upgraded to a Primaris Marine, making him even girthier. What does Helbrecht bring
In
into
fact,
battle with him?
indeed,
After all,
bro.
he's pretty blinged out. As standard for a Chapter Master, he wears Mastercrafted Artificer armor, which is just a flat
Artifices.
upgrade from normal Space Marine armor. Although in especially spicy circumstances, he can choose to wear Terminator armor. Helbrecht also brings the Sword of the High Marshals into all battles. Although it's a sign of office, it's also a legendary blade with very few that can rival its power. Helbrecht also doesn't slack when it comes to maintaining his sword either. He constantly has genetically modified gimp slaves following him around with
Oh yeah, this is his Iron Halo.
multi-purpose spray and wipes in order to constantly clean his sword, even while it's literally lodged in the chest of an orc.
Oh, there's the multi-melter.
Helbrecht also has a combi melter, which
Oh,
is an
combi
insane
melter.
weapon for him to just have on him. It would be powerful enough to one-shot Terminators, or if used correctly, a Dreadnought. He also has an Iron Halo, which is a force field.
Wait, it's that strong? So he's double fisting a gigantic greatsword. And basically a weapon strong enough to one shot. Capable of one-shotting a dreadnought. That is
making him even harder to
crazy.
kill, along with an assortment of grenades. It's hard to argue that he lives
yes,
plot
you need
armor with his
grenades. Just in case whatever that the commie melter doesn't get.
heavily armed and armored. Skill is awesome to have, but a force field, hectic armor, a big ass sword, and a combi melter definitely don't hurt either. The Black Templars have some of the most awesome characters, Sigismund and Grimaldus being a few examples.
Oh,
So
that
it's
was.
awesome to see they have
I
a
don't know
chapter
how I
master that
forgot
can
Grimaldus, but this was Grimaldus over here. This was Grimaldus. At least it should have been Grimaldus with the. Oh, no way, this is Grimaldus, right? Grimaldus is plasma pistol in his mace. And this is the Golden Lion.
Gazkal had returned to Armageddon, so the awesome characters, Sigismund and Grimaldus being a few examples. So it's awesome to see they have a chapter master who can back it all up. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the Burning Hand of Vengeance. Only a few days left, don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe.
Okay. Who should I look at next? I feel like I should just do more Dorn, bro. Um, 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 um. There aren't that many good Dorn ones.
I can turn your wildest ideas into a song. Just describe it.
Oh, wait.
G'day, guys.
This one. I need to put this one in. Here we go. Major kill. And this one. Skip and. Yeah, I think this is Sanguinius. He just got to Earth right before the siege.
The High Company of the Imperial Armory
No. I was wrong. I'm pretty sure this is right before they teleport onto Horus's ship. Because it's saying that they already held the line, which means... And the Emperor's getting his weapon, so it's most likely right before they teleport onto the ship.
Of the comment.
I like to think that Sanguinius says this because maybe he saw what Dorn is going to go through after everything is over.
And the innocent sincerity with which it is expressed. His startled half-smile wavers with imprisoned emotion. A flash of light at the high-slit window of an otherwise impregnable keep. A mere fraction of your deeds, brother. He replied.
Or maybe Dorn is, or he just sees that Dorn is feeling guilty already. He sees like the early fractures in Dorn's iron will. Him being guilty that he couldn't have perfectly defended Terra by himself.
Lies awkwardly. You closed the gate. You locked. Sanguinius shakes his head. I was a warrior, Rogel. Just a warrior. You were the one who mattered. He embraces the Praetorian. The spontaneous impulse of a child. As with his guileless comment, the embrace is unexpected and unself. Conscious. A rare display of emotion, especially in such a gathering.
This is why everyone loves Sanguinius,
For a
man.
moment, Dorn freezes. Then he completes the embrace.
Dorn
When they
hugs
step
him back.
A single teardrop.
Dorn hugs him back as Vulcan sprints through. What's it called? The thing that the Cyclops broke. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. The knot warp.
Glints on the brightest one's pauldron, where the Praetorian rested his head, and a single drop of blood gleams on the Praetorian's backplate, where Sanguinius pressed his hand.
Dang.
Not yet.
Just wiping his blood on
They
him.
both look
or
aside.
blood on him.
The crowd has parted again. Constantine Valdor has entered, his spear across his shoulder. The Custodes Pylorus do not drop their chins. They kneel, for they are his. Not yet, he repeats, a growl. Your plaudits and self-congratulation. You are owed much yourself, Constantine, says Sanguinius.
Dang. He even tries to
Valdor
break down
shrugs.
Valdor's.
His armor is
walls.
pitted and filthy. He eyes them both. If any is owed, and any is necessary, says Valdor, then it can wait until the outcome is settled. No, says Sanguinius. Let's imagine it can't. None of us may live to see that outcome. So
He's
I'll
talking
make
about
damn
himself.
sure I say it while I still can. and you can both listen. You've both excelled, and you're both owed. And I am proud to call you brothers.
Ah,
Brothers now. Sneers
includes
Valdor.
Valdor.
Brothers, is it? In every way that matters, Constantine. Says Sanguinius. He sighs. I meant no slight by it, Captain General. But now I see that— Stop, says Valdor. He sniffs and his brows furrow. I recognize the spirit of your words, Ninth Son. He says, grudgingly.
Dang, just ninth son.
And if this is our only moment, as you suggest, then I tell you I have nothing but honor in my heart for you both.
Dang.
His eyes narrow as he looks at Sanguinius. But no embrace is necessary, he adds. The remark is
And now
intended
they're
lightly,
joking.
and the tension
Bro.
slackens. But Dorn can see how racked with unspoken, perhaps unspeakable pain Valdor has become
Oh,
since they were last face to face. As though the Captain General has seen and done too much.
they're all just so
It
tired.
hurts to behold that in a being of such legendary fortitude. Dorn looks away at the receding procession. Shall we fall in behind? He suggests. Yes, says Valdor. You two should. His will is known to me already.
What?
I will follow as soon as I have issued my last instructions. He turns aside. Attending him are two giants of the Custodian Order whose plate is so coated with soot it seems almost black. The grim wardens of the dark cells are a rare sight, even in the throne room.
The Dark Cells,
With
what is
them,
that?
Dorn sees is Caria Catherine and 7 others of the Silent Sisterhood.
The
They may
sisters.
have been there all along, and their null states only just registered by his senses. Valdor begins to instruct them, his voice low. Sanguinius and Dorn turn and follow the armorers in, side by side. He's going to fight, murmurs Sanguinius as they advance.
The Emperor.
I think he is, Dorn replies. Should we weep or rejoice? Asks Sanguinius. I think it is just cause for both, his brother says.
Dang. Wow. This is one of my favorite moments during the siege. Or for Dorn, really. Dorn, it really shows that Dorn, he is a stoic, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't have emotions, that he doesn't show them off. Because man, did he show them off here. I think there is another one. I hope there's like a lore video on when Dorn is trapped in the in-between dimension. Dorn trapped. This is the right one. When Dorn was when Korn was trying to no. Give me a second. Back. Had mail. Is this the Korn dimension? $2 is just a tiny bit too long. Just a teensy bit too long. Actually, maybe that's enough lore for one day. 1 hour. Okay. I'm good. I'll find this later, because I wanted to listen to when Dorn was trapped in the eternal desert, or the desert, on the ship. Anyways.